Dylan's pick this week was the 2010 film Clash of the Titans. Please describe it, somebody.
So Clash of the Titans is about this kid named Perseus. He grows up after his family dies to Hades because all the humans hate gods. He goes on a quest because he wants to kill all the gods. Zeus still loves him for some reason, even though he's like trying to kill them basically. He goes on a quest. He kills some big scorpions. There's some weird magical bounty hunter dude trying to kill him. He meets the Fates or whatever. He kills Medusa, takes her head, goes back to Argus and kills the Kraken. And then sends Hades back into Hades, and then rides off with the other demi-goddess.
So, my haiku, as inspired by Clash of the Titans. The Kraken cometh, go on a very short quest. Only brought her back. The two things I laugh most about with this film is, one, they just kill the entire party at the last obstacle. They just all die to Medusa. Very funny. I don't know why they did that. I suppose it is a subversion of expectations in this very generic action-adventure film. And also, this was something I was talking to Jackson and Nico about. I was trying to remember the end of the movie. I'm like, did Zeus resurrect Io at the very end? And then I checked, and yeah, he resurrects Io. And then I'm like, why didn't he just bring back Perseus's family?
Because plot came.
He doesn't need them anymore. They'd only drag him down.
Yeah, it's the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with me in this movie that I was getting mixed messages where the humans are like, fuck the gods, and then there was a point where Perseus got the Pegasus and the sword, and they're like, oh, it's a gift from the gods, you should accept it. I'm like, well, aren't you guys like mad at him or whatever? But okay, whatever. And then the gods are like, fuck
Perseus is mad at him, so he doesn't want to accept him.
Yeah, but I'm saying the other people, the guy was like, it's a gift from the gods, you should accept it. And I'm like, I thought you guys didn't like the gods, but whatever. And then the gods are like, fuck the humans, they hate us, they don't respect us anymore. But then, Zeus is the one that's wanting the humans to, get in a line. And then he's like, oh, but I don't want this to happen, I want to help them. I want to help him defeat Hades. So there's just a lot of conflicting, plot points for me in this movie. It might just be me, I don't know. They're just flip-flopping back and forth, whether it's the humans or the gods, and it's like their motivations and their roles are just contradicting sometimes.
Nah, I agree with that. I think the biggest positive for me is I like a decent amount of the creature designs and sort of the world generally. I think the Jinn were cool as fuck. I thought those were sort of a neat inclusion. I think I liked Medusa's design, although the CGI was not great for many parts of the Medusa fight. But yeah, I think they zhuzhed up this very prototypical story enough that I was like, okay, I've seen worse, I was very confused, I'm very confused on if the scorpions just live in the desert or if the evil king guy's blood was making them.
It was his blood.
Okay, all of them? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like the blood of Hades, so...
I don't think that's true, though,
yeah,
because
I don't think
tamed the
either.
scorpions, they had, shit built on top of them.
Yeah, but the Jinn also did that, and the Jinn just have stuff that counteracts the gods' stuff for some reason.
I very much so think that the Jinn were fucking just just had those. I don't think that his blood created them at all.
No, because there's this...
We see his hand get cut off, and it very clearly, it stands up and it bends itself into the shape of a scorpion and then, burrows into the ground.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was about. I just figured that was some shit they forgot about.
Yeah, I absolutely feel like that's just something they forgot about as well.
Also on top of that, though, when the two hunter guys surround him, when they first get into, the desert area... There's a massive amount of his blood that drips into the sand, and then all of a sudden it starts caving in, and a scorpion pops out where the blood dripped. So
yeah, it's unclear.
It's wildly unclear. On the point of it being a cool world, though, Tanner, I personally disagree on that. It doesn't feel very coherent whatsoever.
I didn't really say a cool world.
Okay.
I just said I thought some of the creature designs were cool. And some of the landscapes are not terrible. Mostly the city. I thought the city was fine looking.
Yeah, okay. I think the city was pretty well done. Honestly, I think the generally the vibe of everything fits what they're going for pretty well. I don't have a ton of complaints with that. I think the journey they were going on was pretty generic with like the biomes. They don't really have a whole lot that's going on with most of these biomes. Like they're kind of just like doing like one minor thing and then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
My big complaint with this is the main character is such like a fucking non-character for me.
Yeah.
He feels like he just doesn't emote or anything. He's mostly just like a vehicle to move us to the story rather than like a character that develops over time or anything. He's just some kind of pissed off guy most of it. He has like that brief moment of where he's fucking horny for that one chick, but that's mostly it. He's not really... I don't know. He feels very one note to me, and he's like the driving force for this film, so that brings it down a good amount.
Yeah, welcome
Also,
to every big budget Hollywood action movie.
Yeah. Also, everyone was fucking trashing the CG. Like when we're looking at the reviews for this movie, it was very poorly rated, and it looked like it was primarily just because people were pissed off about using a ton of CG, and the CG not looking good for the time. A lot of people are comparing it to like Avatar. I think the CG is fine, honestly. Especially for 2010, I think it's totally fine. I don't think it brings it down a ton. The scorpions looked a little weird. The moves to fight looked a little strange, but I think overall it was okay. So
from what I had seen, I think that a big part of those negative reviews was because of the 3D in this film, actually. This was back during like the big 3D craze, and I guess the 3D was very poorly implemented into this film. Like it was not initially intended for it, but they kind of just shoehorned it in like the last second after they saw like how well other 3D films were doing. And people were very unhappy about that. They're like, damn, I wasted like an extra $10 to see this movie and the 3D was shit. Come on.
That's like when we watched Way of the Water.
I was gonna say it's exactly like when me and Jackson watched Way of the Water.
Yeah, I could have seen that if we were talking about. There's like a panoramic thing we watched when we watched that movie that could have been cool, but it was kind of shitty because it was really low frame rate and like darker and you know what.
And the
Gotcha.
wolves also weren't suited.
No,
Anyway.
yeah, it was a pretty janky feeling setup, but what?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like the Medusa portion was definitely the highlight of the film, but yeah, outside of that, I didn't really care about anything whatsoever. This film was very extremely generic, and like the Kraken isn't even fucking Greek. Fuck you.
Yeah, finishing this movie made me realize how many iterations of exact epic there are that exist just in Hollywood. So that's it's a popular.
And with that, guys, yeah, so like, for my ranking, I guess I'll go first. I'll give it a C, I think. C feels fair.
I'm also giving it a C.
I gave it a C+ personally.
Jackson's feeling a little generous today.
I've had some time to think it over because I actually wasn't 100% sure on my rating on this one either. I still like the movie. I like a lot of legendary films, trying to figure out.
Yeah, we've noticed.
I think I'm going to give this movie a B, which is, I think, significantly lower than.
What were you going to put it at?
Yeah, how did we sway you so much? Was I on track when I said, I forgot to give it an S+?
I like to hear I like to bounce my thoughts off you guys, obviously, and I like to hear what you guys have to say. And it helps me, like, think and, like, refine my thoughts a little more. I was originally just gonna give it an 8, but...
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I also, like, because this is just another Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, except I think it's still better. But I wasn't going to put it in the same tier, because I think it's better than some of them in that tier. So,
yeah.
But
I don't think this movie is, like, offensively bad. It's just pretty generic. I feel like if somebody was into the setting and they liked, all the Greek shit, I could see somebody being pretty into this movie and looking at it from a much different perspective than us. I couldn't give a fuck about any of this shit. I think honestly, I'm going to be completely honest here. I think Greek god shit's kind of dumb for the most part. I'm kind of the opposite end of enjoying it.
Dude, I literally love all of that shit, and I didn't like this movie.
That's because you're just a fucking hating bitch.
True.
Anyways, that puts it at a C+ overall.
Whoa.